The communication is of a different type. Father and child, different type. Siblings. So there's a beautiful example which I read somewhere. What is a sibling? Sibling समझते हैं ना? Brother sisters or brother sister sister. So what is definition of sibling? So siblings are fighting. Why did you use my toothpaste? And next day, अच्छा, your kidney problem, take mine. Okay. Now, where is the communication? If you are going to watch them fight, you will think they are enemies. But that is their style of communication. If you are working in an official role, you have a certain style of working. The person who's dealing with suppliers, his style, his language, his this thing will be different from those who are communicating with customers. I mean, communication style itself is different. But does either of them want a fight or enemies? So no. But the communication style is different. Which is right, which is wrong? No, if it works, it is right. Okay, so I'll give some examples. I will try and define your thoughts, see if it helps you. Okay, so always structure the sentences. Structure the sentences. That means depending upon what you are communicating, multi-language, multi-style, it's a very complex thing. And now that we are part of the global village, that means we are interacting with international level, suddenly it becomes more complex. Now please realize, if you get an email from London and if you get an email from US, the language is different. You will think they're both English, but they're not English. It's different. You talk to them, it's different. Now English is anyway, it's an ambiguous language. Our languages are much superior to English. So if you are going to communicate in English, learn some tricks. So you don't have to do a PhD in English. You just need to do basic. So if you are asking a question, so Indians, all Indians, I am also an Indian. I will ask question like, are you going to come tomorrow? Or will I say, you coming tomorrow? फर्क समझा कुछ? What do we say? You coming tomorrow? Then तुम कल आने वाले हो ना? So we are thinking in language and replacing. So that's not always correct. In English, that meaning is not clear. Always start your question with the 5 WH. Do you know the 5 WH? Who, what, where, when, how, etc. So those 5. Who is going to come? When are you coming? Will you be coming? How are you coming? So these are questions. You are coming is not a question. Though in our Indian languages, it's a correct question. In English, it is not a correct question. So what happens is that the person who is opposite you is not a conversation. See if you can do it in using those 5 H. Another one is using verbs. So these are all questions and they look like questions because they are starting with a verb, an action word. I don't want to go into any specific persons, but I've seen a lot of emails where the customer asks, "Samjha nahi?" No, I didn't understand. So it is not that we have not understood. He didn't understand because he's used to English. We are not using that English. Okay. So what you should do is use for questions, make these 2 habits. Okay. Then instructions. Sometimes we are writing procedure manuals, we are writing instruction manuals, we are writing orders to somebody, we are telling something to somebody. So I'll give you example. Is that an instruction? So it's like a should, सबने सच बोलना चाहिए, किसी ने झूठ नहीं बोलना चाहिए, that sort of a sentence. In our Indian languages, it might be making sense. In English, it doesn't make sense. There's no should, could, would in an instruction. In an instruction, do this, do this, do this. So it always starts with a command. The first word says take, put, enter, lift. Okay, so you use your sentences very carefully. So if you are commanding, if you're giving instructions, if you're telling somebody to do something, then start with the action, with a commanding word. Okay. Then we are doing reporting. So a very very common Indian sentence. अरे वो आने वाला था आदमी आया क्या? नहीं आया. Now the interesting part is the person who asked the question understood, but in English there is a concept called passive sentence and an active sentence, and they are not used to this type of conversation. There has to be has not arrived. So everything is based on the doer. There has to be a doer. When we are talking to each other, quite often one word done is enough. Failed enough. You understand? Because there is a reference to context. But you will find that that is not giving effective communication, especially when you are writing. So try and put sentences, and your reporting should always have a person, a doer. Okay, doer. I'm using the biggest word. I'm not going into the technical part of grammar. Okay. Any questions on this? Can I go ahead? Okay. I don't know how many of you know this. So there's a very important management word called KISS, which means keep it simple, stupid. So it's an insult. You're being told first, you're stupid. And you're stupid because you're making it complicated. Keep it, don't make it complicated. Okay. So uh, I will tell you a nursery rhyme. Now I'm assuming that some of you at least have been into convent schools, English medium schools, and may have nursery rhymes. But this nursery rhyme, I don't know why. We were taught and afterwards I didn't see it. Okay, but it's a very good nursery. So it says, "This is the horn that woke the priest, that kissed the maid, that milked the cow, that fought the dog, that killed the cat, that ate the rat, that ate the floor, that lay in the house, that Jack built." किसके बारे में था ये? What is this describing? Now the thing is, I started with this is the horn, pong, बजाने वाला horn. Okay, but the thing is, after I have made such a long sentence, you remember the last part, you don't remember the first part. Or if you remember Amitabh Bachchan in Amar Akbar Anthony, the whole thing is a juxtaposition of the hemoglobin content of the atmosphere pressure in the country. Okay, क्या था? Okay, now when you make very long sentences, when you are making that sentence, you are having some thought. So to you, it looks nice and clear. But the person who's looking at it is badly confused. Add to this, okay? Add to this. Our Indian languages are so powerful. English is not. Okay? You lose the context. यानी वो जो आदमी है सामने वाला, he is now losing focus and doesn't know what you're trying to say. So don't let that happen. That is not the purpose. You're communicating, so you want somebody to understand what you're saying or to answer to your queries or something. So you are giving one part of a information, and you're hoping that person will respond. He's 12 hours away, so he sends you a next day. 24 hours later, you get a mail saying समझा नहीं. So you have lost your opportunity to communicate. Make small sentences, very small sentences. I mean, I have generously used 10 words, but you should try for 8 words. When you actually try to write, you'll be very surprised. You expect your content to increase. You think कि अभी मेरे को छोटा sentence, and then it's going to become big. No, it doesn't become big. So it remains the same size, and in fact, sometimes it becomes smaller. So one trick to be used. Okay, this is a trick. You delete one word and see. Whatever sentence you have written, delete one word and see. Does the meaning of the sentence change? If the meaning of the sentence is not changed, get confused when you ask them, Sir, what is your good name? He says, but I don't have a bad name. I mean, we are all used to colorful language. Our languages are very, if you just take your own names, you'll realize they are sir, गिरीश पहाड़ पे बैठा हुआ भगवान अरे नहीं यार मैं नहीं है. So now our languages are colorful. Unfortunately, we translate into English and use the same colorful language. It's not required. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Okay. Try to you make very short sentences. Now I'm specifically saying about writing, but the logic also holds true for when you're speaking. But when you're speaking, most of the time you're thinking in your mother tongue. Replacing that words with, now to get out of that habit is not easy. It's very hard. So if you start using this in when you're writing, your thought process will also simplify and you will slowly develop that skill of making shorter sentences. Okay. So make sentences with maximum 10 words, preferably 8 words. In PML, we don't have this culture. ऐसा email कभी भी start नहीं करने का. Because many people think of PML as Pakistan Muslim League. क्या करोगे? You're adding to confusion. Word like ROI. What is the meaning of ROI? Rate of interest. Abhi, if I'm from bank, it's rate of interest. If big boss is asking, it's return on investment. Now, there are words, for example, the word SET is not a short form, it's a word, set. If you open a dictionary, this is the word which has the highest number of meanings. Okay, it has very, very large number of meanings, which makes it very difficult to use. But we are so casual about it, we fit it anywhere we want. Thing is, the meaning is still correct. But to you, what about the other fellow? What about that fellow who doesn't know the context? So, in words which you are using, which are to you useful but not necessarily assumed to others, you should always put first. I'm saying the rate of interest is this. ऐसा कुछ तो लिखा sentence. Oh, rate of interest के आगे I put a bracket and say ROI, and then my next lines can use the word ROI. Now I don't need to use the full rate of interest. In Permanent Magnets Limited, in bracket PML, we have a policy like this. And niche. Now you talk of PML, no problem. So when you are writing sentences, if there is something which is specific, which you are shortening, keep it cleared, clarified right in the beginning, and then use the short forms. Okay. When you are thinking, for example, today this is a 1 hour presentation I'm making. How much time do you think I had to work to prepare this presentation? Any guess? So this is the nth time I'm making this presentation. Okay, I've done this many times. But it took me one whole day just to write down each sentence because I was thinking, ये एक भी word इसमें से extra नहीं होना चाहिए. I keep deleting those words. So what I did was, what is it that I want to think? What do I want people to think? What do they want next? What do they want next? So there's a logic which I have broken up into titles, subtitles, sections, chapters, paragraphs, bullet points, etc. That way, Bharkatna, are you know aware of, just you get lost and you go like this all over. So I don't want that to happen. So same thing happens for emails, same thing happens for talking, same thing happens for anything. Okay. Except for presentations, use full sentences. So when I make a presentation, when I explained make sentences with max words, whatever I told you, I didn't write there. Okay, I just put those short message for you, explained it. I hope that you remember this rather than the whole explanation. You don't have to remember the explanation. Okay, so in presentations you should use very short words. So you don't have to create sentences. Use just words. But everywhere else, don't use words. It should be full sentences. Otherwise, Taiwan or Indonesia or Thailand or South America, or, all these countries also are like India. They prefer their own languages. Their English is very bad. It's it's very bad. Okay, but those of you who are getting correspondence must have noticed that you still understand. Okay, same way, if you make mistakes and send, others understand that they are not stupid. But just like we laugh at the Chinese sentences, they are also laughing at your sentences. You don't want that. You want them to carry an impression that you know what you're talking about. You are good at what you are doing. So take that little effort. Use spell check and grammar check. Okay. Nowadays, Google does it automatically. You don't have to give it an instruction. But if you give it an instruction, also it tells you. But that little blue line below, that little red line below, don't ignore it. Check. ऐसा क्यों बोल रहा है? Why is it saying that? And see if you can learn from that. You use that so that next time, before Google tells you, you have already done the correct thing. Okay? So check spelling, check grammar. Nobody expects you to be a perfect in English. It doesn't matter, but at least minimize the silly mistakes. Okay? Any questions on this? Can I go ahead? Okay. Break me. All my thoughts are organized, so I won't get lost. Consistency. When you are writing, when you are speaking, when you are communicating any form, I will look at the report you have sent. We will try to solve your problem. This is a very bad way to write. So, if you are using a correspondence with a I, make everything with I. If you are saying we, say everything with we. Again, India, many languages don't have that मैं. We have हम. When we are talking of other people, we don't always use the singular, not the two. We use wo, sarji. Okay, we talk aap, which is there in English. Okay, but we are not using. We are never using the, thou. Okay, it is there, but we are not using. So, same way, you are you and I am we is a problem. Okay, मेरे को इज्जत है तुमको इज्जत नहीं है. Don't say this. So treat everybody same. So if you are comfortable with I, use I. If you are somebody using we, use we. If you are using he or she, don't say they. Okay. Now again, very silly. Does this stop anything? No, it doesn't stop anything. The other person understood, but is laughing. Try and make it such a way that that flow feels respect for you. Okay. In a in a in a in a document, if you say something, some sentence is written as an instruction, and some other sentence is written as a description. Believe me, it's very confusing. It's very confusing. Unless you have clearly used those titles. Okay. You have said this is the instruction. This is the description. Other than that, now people are not knowing. ये करना है क्या ये वो करना है. Okay. It creates problems. This is a very common problem. Okay. Past tense, one sentence talks of I had done this, you had done this. And another sentence says ki we are doing. We are working on it. It's very, very confusing. Okay. Unless again you have clearly you have made two parts to what you are saying. This is analyzing ki kal tak kya hua. This is present and something else is talking of future. So jo 8D wala logic hai. If you have structured it that way, make it structured. If you just keep writing one sentence below the other, it doesn't mean anything. Okay. Second thing, I don't know. I'm sure all of you passed your English tests. I believe it. Metric to hui gaya na kam se kam. But I don't think you remember the difference between active sentences and passive sentences. So the doer, if he comes in the beginning, and the object which he is using should come later. This is the specs I got. The I is doer and I'm in the end. And the first thing is the object. This is a passive sentence. I got these specs is an active sentence. Same meaning. Same meaning. In the world, major parts of languages in India use passive sentences. Our normal conversation in Marathi, Hindi, English, whatever we talk, it's all passive sentences. Other than us, the Britishers use passive sentences. But if you go to anywhere else, they all use only active sentences. And it's very difficult for them to understand passive sentences. So they have gone back in time. Huh? Buddha ho gaye wo log. It's not advanced. It's not unadvanced. It's a archaic thing. Get used to it. Start making only active sentences. Everywhere you read, even amongst ourselves, that's how you get comfortable with using active sentences. Otherwise, our normal conversation is passive sentences. Okay. Now, if you see my presentation, throughout the presentation, the heading is the same font and the contents is the same font. Same size, same look, same feel. I have a separate presentation on fonts. Okay. Fonts is बॉडी लैंग्वेज रहता है ना ह्यूमंस का वैसा रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट का फॉन्ट्स आर गिविंग अ बॉडी लैंग्वेज whether that person who's reading it is going to feel respect for you or is going to laugh at you or is going to feel you're an idiot will depend on what font you're using. Worst is if you start copy pasting. You have a word document, उधर से एक सेंटेंस उठाया, एक गूगल में से एक सेंटेंस उठाया, एक किसी ने मेरे को ईमेल किया था उसमें से उठाया, and everybody has used different font and I just paste and then what that document which comes is now having a mixture of fonts. That is even worse. There is a way of pasting only text. Use that, choose your fonts. Okay, but it should look like you thought you made a document on your thoughts. It clearly tells you copy pasted. Now there are times when somebody sends an email and you want to reply to each mail and you use different color for that or different font for that. That's okay. That's okay. You're clearly identifying this is your sentences, this is my sentences. But again, within that, make it consistent. Okay, so consistency is very important for fonts. Do not use social media short forms. Please do this. ऐसा किसी ने mail भेजा, you sent a K. The reply is just K. Don't. Show at least that much respect that to that person to write a complete sentence. Okay. There are many short forms which have multiple meanings, and you might not know that there is a vulgar meaning to that short form which you are making. That can add to another set of problems. So try and keep them simple and try to make them full. Do not use social media short forms. Okay. Some words which we are talking amongst ourselves, we know, but I don't know if that person knows. So be careful. Okay. Second thing, we are all used to date. Now we are following a different format of date. The Americans are following a different format. Some of the European countries are following different format. You can generate huge confusion in dates, especially in the first few months of the year. 3/4/25 and 4/3/25 are 1 month apart. Please remember, you don't know what that person is looking at. Is he expecting month in the beginning or is he expecting month in the middle? So use this trick. You make sure that whatever you write, you put the month as a text, not as a number. Always put it as text. Date, you put as 2 digits. year as 4 digits. Do not say, for example, 10 9 25. Don't say 10 9 25. 10 9 25 is different in America. 10 9 25 is different in India. 10 9 25 is different in Europe. Okay. I think it's the Japanese. The Japanese have a yet different type. It says year, month, date. So, मर गया तुम. You will be in disaster if you play. So get into habit. Make it everyday occurrence. Everywhere that you write a date, put it like this. Okay. Now, this is the word was consistency. Okay, that means whatever communication you are doing, whether it's oral, whether it's written, make it consistent. Okay. Any questions on this? No. Okay. Can I go ahead? English is a foreign language. Don't ever be ashamed that your English is not as good. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. Please, you can appear for TOEFL, you can appear for GRE, you can appear for anything. All my friends who went to US, the first thing they realize is their English is better than all the Americans. Because they are not appearing for GRE and TOEFL. Their education system is much lower in terms of general English. Now, somebody goes and does a BA English, he's good, but most of the public is not. So, nothing wrong. But you want to have your own confidence. So, teach yourself and build confidence. Please remember, most of us can speak 3, 4, 5 languages. We are in India. So many people, different languages, different accents. अरे इंग्लिश तक किस खेत की मूली है? So you should be able to learn English by some method. Now I don't want you to go to school, college again. Okay, so I'm putting some missing. Okay, so be alert to common mistakes. Sharmao mat. Please ask, talk. If somebody tells you this is what you're saying is not like this, it's like this. Use it. Use it. It's possible. You can, learn from each other and improve your confidence. So, for example, postpone is when you make it late. And Indians are the only people who say कि उसका उल्टा is prepone. It's advance. So, opposite of postpone is advance. There is no prepone. I am worried that soon the dictionaries will add prepone. इतना इंडियन यूज कर रहा है. But please realize when you leave the country, people will not understand. Yesterday night. Sir, Hindi कल रात को. In English, it's last night. There's no yesterday night. Yesterday is day. It's not night. It's last night. Okay. मेरे को लाल लाल साड़ी बहुत अच्छी लगी है. रेड साड़ी. Now in English there's no red. There's no good. There's no repetition of word to show a higher level. You can add very, you can make it ER, ending with ER, but there's no red. Okay. Now, what does this mean? Do you think you're doing this every day? My guess is yes. All of us are still thinking in mother tongue and translating. So get used to the idea. Feel free to tell your friends, your colleagues, कि अरे तूने ऐसे बोला, don't say this. And then ऐसा हो गया. So you can improve yourself. Okay. So learn the common mistakes and see if you can fix those mistakes. Okay. Okay. There's a famous poem. Again, my guess is you never had it, but remember the name of it. The poem says, "My puppy and I." Now, that is a very important thing. If I have to tell you in Hindi, I will tell you कि मैं कल मेरी बीबी को और बच्चों को लेके पिक्चर गया था. So my sentence started with P. The same sentence in English is my family and children and I went to the movie. So the and I, it always ends with and I or and me. Okay, never I and. In English, huh? In Indian language, is exactly opposite. We always start with I. In English, it's always and I. It does create a distraction when you are writing like this, and the other person is good at English and doesn't understand. ये क्यों बोल रहा है ऐसा? Because they are not using multiple languages; they are using only one language. So they find this very odd. So try and use this. Just remember, there's a famous poetry called "A Puppy and I." Okay? Avoid mixing cultures. So somebody gets an email from Japan and he calls you Girish-san. So I call him also. ऐसा मत करो. Don't do. Always stick to your style, because sometimes you will not be consistent. Sometimes you say this, sometimes you say something else, sometimes you say something else, and it's very big problem. Don't be ashamed of who we are. You want to say Sharad ji, then you adding ji, please add to everybody. तुम्हारा फ्रेंड है, बाजू में बैठा है, इसको गधा बोलेगा, घोड़ा बोलेगा, कुछ भी बोलेगा, उसमें लिखेगा. No, 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 don't do that. He's still your friend. But you want to show respect to somebody, show respect to everybody. You want to call Sharad ji Sharad, then call everybody by first name. You want to address him as Mr. Sharad, then that person whom you are talking to, address him also as Mr. Maintain a consistency in the culture of what you are writing. Okay? वो साहब ने उन्होंने बोला है, so they have approved. English don't understand who's they. Is Mr. and Mrs. Tapia? Okay. So not they, he. Okay. The Japanese के तरह san मत लिखो. So if you are trying to communicate, be very clear your style you have to talk. So I will tell you, I worked for an American company, and one experience I will share with you. Multi-cultured, multi-language. The same word we don't speak in the same way. My brother, Shirish, all the South Indian teachers he had, they would spell his name as Sirish, and he would say, no, 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 no. For me, it's Shirs. किसका बराबर है, किसका गलत है? You go to Tamil Nadu, in that script, some alphabets are missing. So when you ask somebody to write down the name of Suresh, it comes out as Churecha. But do they say that? They don't. They still say Suresh. They understand कि वो उधर नहीं है लेकिन इधर है. You go to any of this Calcutta side, in their script they have sir and they have a sir, but they pronounce everything as sir. They have a va and they have a ba, but there's no vidya, there's a vidya. I had a Sardar colleague. He used to always call me Girish. ऐसा वो उसमें वो जी आ रहा है नहीं है, GIR है. ओ यार ग्रीश है. अच्छा ओके ठीक है. I had a friend, his name was Parag. He would address me, oh ये Parag. साहब प्राग वो फूल का पार्ट होता है. ये क्या कर रहा है उसको. बट ओके, पंजाबी आदमी छोड़ दिया. Now we had one more colleague, Pramod. Same Sardar calls him Parmod. मैं बोला यार उसका तो कंसिस्टेंस करो. यू वांट टू प्रोनाउंस द आर बिफोर, नाउ यू वांट टू प्रोनाउंस द आर आफ्टरवर्ड्स. उसके नाम में पहले है वो प्रकाश. ओए जी प्रकाश जी. नहीं साहब उसका नाम प्रकाश नहीं, प्रकाश 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 वो नहीं वही. नाउ in this habit some regular words became very vulgar words. Okay, but the point is, we have used to too many cultures and the world is not used to that. So try not to do that. Try not to create multiple cultures in one conversation. Okay. Then you look for the chota changes, chota, which are not important, but maybe the other person doesn't understand. THERE and THEIR. In English, it's a huge difference. And you'll find that Americans don't know this. You can get emails from Americans where they have used this in place of that and that in place of this. You please don't do it. Huh? Be very careful. Your and you are drastically different meaning. Trial and trail. Very big difference. Okay, so you must use uh, uh, alertness to make sure that your communication skills. Okay, can I go ahead? Okay. So these are what I call suggestions. Why I'm saying suggestions? Because I know that many of you will not agree. Many of you will not agree with this, and I'm okay with that. Huh? I'm okay with that. I have no problem. But I'm just calling them suggestions. So one of the major things is when you send emails, na, for example, when I get an email from a customer who has become very rude and abusive, his gussa I can see in that email, and my first reaction is double gussa. Now I want to write an email. You idiot! Don't you understand? I am more technically competent than you. You have no use. And this is so क्या बोलते हैं अंदर से आता है ना. So don't do that. Okay. So what do? I write. Then I just अच्छा देखने का उसको. What does this sound like? Does this sound as if I am angry? Does this sound as if I have lost control? The situation is not in my hands. मैं मेरा frustration उसके ऊपर निकाल रहा है. Does it sound like that? Then I think यार ये बराबर नहीं है यार. मैं नाम में नीचे vice president लिख रहा हूँ. I'm not keeping the dignity of that. I'm putting company's name. I represent the company. I'm not putting dignity. What should I do? So there's a feature in that. Just save it as a draft. घूम के आने का. Have a little water, coffee लो, sit down, talk to this flow, talk to that flow, come back and then look again. Then you will suddenly find that has cooled you down and you start changing the sentence structure. It makes a big difference. Now, I have done it. Now I'm feeling कि अभी ये बराबर जा रहा है. Now it's showing respect, it's polite, it's nice, and my point is still being explained. But somewhere in the back of my mind ना एक घंटी बज रहा है कि रुक जा जल्दी नहीं है. Wait. So in that, in your Gmail, there's an option of schedule send. You click it, it asks you what time do you want to send this. So now I'm sending to somebody in the US. Now I'm here in the daytime. For him it's night. So I have till say 9 o'clock in the night. So I can schedule it at 9 o'clock so that he gets it first thing in the morning. And before that, if I feel कि अरे इसमें ये change करने का है, ये add करने का है, ये remove करने का है, I still have a chance. But since I'm anyway feeling confident, if there's nothing to change, it will go. So take your time to send emails. Okay, it remove that irritation, depression, anger, वो जो कुछ है ना, don't put it there. Now, in spite of what I think, he might not agree with me. My friend who's sitting next to me might not agree. अरे तू कितना गंदा लिखा है उसको. How are you telling customer all this? वही बात बराबर है. So there is this concept of 4 eyes. I am having only 2 eyes. I should use somebody else's 2 eyes also. Now, maybe that person doesn't understand the topic. Maybe he does. He is not familiar with the customer, the supplier. He's not familiar with the subject, the technicality. But he can tell you whether that tone is right, whether the sequence is right. Are you have given a decision and then explained. Why don't you explain first and give the decision? बराबर है. I didn't think of it. So, what is that 4 eyes principle? Is at least two more eyes look at it, if possible more. Okay, it makes a lot of difference. So in my one of my previous companies, every mail that had to be sent out had to be checked by somebody before it was sent. Okay, there's no rule here. It's your choice. You will feel less embarrassment later. Okay, so just think about it. When you talk among friends, The language and style is different. When you talk with family, your language and style is different. When you're talking in the office, now you have friends around. Some are khunnas people, some are nice people. When you talk in one way, what happens is you become habited. You become used to a style. So we had some people who were very senior who used the same sentence every day. And I saw a manager use the same sentence against that senior person. And then he was scared. Now the thing is, we are all quick at adapting bad habits and very slow at adapting good habits. So make it a practice to see if you can talk to near and dear ones also in a formal manner. Believe me, there'll be a lot of laughter, there will be a lot of teasing, but it changes your own confidence in speaking. Okay, so practice, practice speaking. Okay, I'm used to speaking, say in Hindi with you, and you want to speak in English. I am willing. I will help you. Help each other. Okay, so learn and practice formal talking amongst yourself. Mistakes होता है होने दो. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now that fourth line is very painful. Okay. I have a feeling most of you are not reading newspapers. Forget about reading books. I doubt if you're reading books. Uh, if you see a movie and you read the book of the same movie, it's a drastic difference. When you're reading the book, your brain is taking that and trying to imagine. When you see a movie, now you're seeing what the director imagined, not what you are imagining. You're seeing what the director imagined. And you are seeing what I call a colored picture. You are not getting that benefit which you could have got for the practice session. Okay, so read newspapers, read magazines, read books, and it's not expensive now. Okay, when I was small, buying a book was very scary. Too much money involved. Uh, our incomes have gone up, but the book prices have not gone up that much. So you should. Nowadays, newspapers give annual subscription. Stupid prices. You should take. Uh, so viewing somebody's image, a movie, is different from reading or listening. So you will find that there are a lot of what's it called, podcasts. So audios where somebody has talked about something and they are available. And if you know where to look for them, you can find them to your interest. What is interesting to me might not be interesting to you. So it's up to you. You should make a practice. So I'll give you an example of this. I had a friend who was an avid reader. He was reading a lot of books, and we were in what, sixth, seventh standard or something. And there was another friend of ours who was maybe 4 years older than us, and we were having a conversation. And this friend and that friend, they were discussing some book, and this friend, you know what? These French people, they like champagne a lot. What is this champagne? Didn't understand. And the fellow was older than us. Oh, you mean champagne? Now the thing is, I told him, you don't laugh at him. He's a pure veg, non-drinking, the sadhu sant aadmi hai. And he has seen this word because he's reading. But because he has never heard it, he is not able to associate that word with that sound. You have understood कि this was talking about champagne. तू किधर पिया रे? Now now बदलाव हो गया वो ठीक है, but the point is many of us don't realize that what we are saying is not making sense to the other person. We had some people here, इधर ही बैठे थे foreigners, and I think he came or somebody came and asked, कि पिज्जा चलेगा क्या खाना? Saying what is pizza? I had to tell him, अरे pizza. Okay, हाँ pizza, no problem. Now कितना फर्क है? But to them, the Z is pronounced as TS, not as Z. The Americans are worse. They use the word Z. It's XYZ. It's not XYZ. So which is right, which is wrong? I don't know. But if you are hearing and listening, you get exposed and your words become better. So how many of you tried GRE or TOEFL? GRE? TOEFL? अरे कोई you didn't go to foreign? यूज नहीं जाने का? नहीं, ट्राई नहीं किया. So words like pusillanimous, paraphernalia. अभी ये खाने को बैठा है and these fellows are discussing this and some fellow says, do you know the meaning of pusillanimous? I know. बैरन का बुक में 271 पेज पे ऊपर से थर्ड वर्ड है और उसका क्या मतलब है, मीनिंग क्या है? So don't try to memorize those words. I'm not talking about memorizing. I'm talking of getting used to it. And try not to get used to those big words. You don't need those big words. You're talking of simple English. You're just wanting to communicate. Dana pani wala level. Food, water, drink, air. That's what you're talking. Okay. So get used to that. So these are some suggestions which can help you build your confidence. Okay. Can I go ahead? I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. So I wanted to give more time for this. Do you have any questions? It's very important to have questions, huh? Any questions? Any questions? Can be English, Hindi, Marathi. Now we're not talking of English. We are talking of communication. And I need your communication. Tell me. नहीं? नहीं? You know, no, there's a penalty for this. अगर क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछेगा तो there is a penalty, huh? So you will discover the penalty later. So thank you for putting up with me. I'm honored that I could make this presentation. I hope it has been useful to you. बाकी आपकी मर्जी. I'm contactable. I'm used to the idea. So let me tell you a light incident. 12:30 in the night, my bell rings. I'm in the factory. I'm staying in the factory. I have a flat in the factory. So the bell rings, and there's a security guy there. All sorts of bad thoughts go through. क्या हो गया? अभी नीचे मारामारी हो गया. Something like that. Why is he come here? तो इसे साहब हमने चोर पकड़ा. ओके, रात को 12:30 बजे चोर पकड़ा है. करेगा क्या उसका? You do one thing. There are so many cabins. Open one cabin, put that floor there, lock it up, wait. In the morning when the HR guy comes, वो उसको पुलिस में दे देगा. He was more confused than I was. ऐसा तो देखो क्यों करने का? Well, okay. Now you got a thief. What option do you want? Well, we are 4 of us. Security वाला 4. किधर जाएगा? बेटर रहेगा. हमारा भी टाइम पास, उसका भी टाइम पास. No problem. I'm confused. Why has he come to me at 12:30? He didn't want anything from me. समझ गया मैं. समझ गया. एक बार पीछे हटो. एक स्टेप पीछे हटो. फिर से आओ. टेल मी. फिर से बोल. चोर पकड़ा है. और चोर पकड़ा है. Congratulations, Mr. Gaikwad. Thank you so much. You did a very good job. I'm proud of you. करके वो you about turned and walked out. I closed the door and I'm listening. I'm hearing him go down the staircase. I can hear 4 people asking him, क्या हुआ रे? क्या हुआ? क्या हुआ? क्या हुआ? And in a very high volume, he's telling them कि साहब ने मेरे को बोला congratulations. Now, please realize, I am used to this. 2:30 a.m. Somebody comes and tells me, साहब वो furnace बंद पड़ गया है. चलो. 16 hours later, I'm back home. Now, I'm used to the idea. So, if you have any issues, call me. Talk to me. I will never say, तुम पागल है क्या ऐसे मेरे को पूछ रहे? I will never say this. Okay? Don't become personal. I don't want to know your personal problems. I don't want you to ask me my personal problems. But other than that, this is a type of topic you feel free to ask. It's much better to ask and clarify before getting embarrassed in front of somebody else outside. Okay? Okay? Now, there's a test which uh, HR will conduct. It's up to you. Please realize this is for you, not for me. I don't get anything from this. But if you gain, I'm happy. So please, thank you so much. It has been a good thing. You can always come anytime. You can phone me, you can email me,